going on, guys? Back again with another video. Unfortunately, I have blown the account.
You suck!
Like, I don't even know what to say. Mission failed. The market has been very shaky. This is just a quick update video. I've had phase 2 for 3 months. I had phase 1 from about the middle of November to the middle of December. So I had phase 1 for 1 month and then managed to pass that, move on to phase 2. So phase 2 I've had since the middle of December till now. It's basically 3 months and I've literally blown the account. Today, as I'm making this video, is a Sunday. I blew the account on Friday, which is 2 days ago. Yeah, so you guys can see right here, I've had this account for 3 months. Some people managed to blow their accounts the very same day. I managed to hold this account for 3 months, swing trading, using the daily as directional bias with the higher time frame, so the weekly and the monthly, whilst entering on the 4-hour time frame. So it does take a while to set up because we are looking for specific things when it comes to this strategy, and obviously the strategy you'll be able to find in the link in the description. Very straightforward and easy, but guys, the account is completely blown. To be honest, I'm not really sad, I'm not upset. Things like this happen, and I can show you the last couple of trades that I did take, which completely wiped out my account. I did not over leverage. I took every setup as it came to me. There were some risky setups that of course I did not call out in the group. Obviously didn't want you guys to lose that money. However, I was capable of losing that money in the sense of it wouldn't affect me as such. Plus there's some things that I would also do behind closed doors, which is just something that I personally would do. Like if a setup, if our first entry or our only entry for the strategy, price takes off, doesn't give us an entry, I would always find a way to get into my second position, which I have mentioned in previous videos. I would get involved with a second entry. Now if price takes off without tagging us in for the very first and only entry that we should take as per the strategy, typically what I will do is I would look for my second entry model and see if I can get in with that position as price is already taken off. That would become my first entry. Sometimes it did work, which allowed my account to build itself back up from being a drawdown to about initial balance. And then there's other times where it would cause me to take a loss and then more losses. But that side of the variation of that strategy, which is something I just I don't recommend, because some people might look at it as chasing the market. However, if you know the strategy in itself works, so i.e. taking a second entry, if you know that works, do it. If you know it increases your returns, do it. If it increases your win rate, do it. I have statistics to say that that second entry model that I do have anyways is still valid. However, it's more riskier. Your win rate might decrease, but your return rate on the profits will increase, and that's something that I was happy to deal with. But that side of things I don't really want to I guess show people, because again your win rate will decrease and some people might not have the psychology behind it to to hold on to that, especially when it comes to prop firms. But again, it's all down to the individual. I've done that multiple times, and doing that same method has actually allowed me to pass several prop firm accounts much more quicker than I have in previous times, just by using a 1 entry model. So it all varies at the end of the day. Pick your poison, and for me that was the poison that I decided to pick. I'm not complaining. It was a challenge. It failed. It was close to doing it. It failed. But also the market has been shaky, so I wouldn't say it's the strategy in itself that caused this account to fail. Unfortunately, 3 months, if I can pass phase 1 in 1 month, but then phase 2 it's taken me 3 months and I still haven't passed, it's got nothing to do with the strategy, because whatever techniques I used in the first phase is the same techniques I used in the second phase. And guess what happened? One account managed to pass and the other account managed to blow up. So you could turn around and say it's not the strategy, it's actually the market. That's the only thing we can't change. We can't change the market. We can change our strategy as many times as possible. It's all down to you. But I know for a fact that this one here, it's definitely not the strategy. The strategy is very good, 80% win rate, you know, on a swing. Sometimes it just takes very long in order for some setups to occur. We waited several weeks and several months sometimes throughout that 3-month period where there were no setups whatsoever. It's out of my control, you know. Luckily, there were some setups that I was able to catch, which allowed me to prevent this inactive days, as you can see on the screen now, to be hit. Otherwise, the account would have been, you know, would have blown up a long time prior to the 30 days that's over here. Sorry, a long time prior to the 3 months that I managed to hold the account for. So that's it really. You know, let me get into the last couple of trades that I did take anyways, and you will see what happened. So if I show you here now, we now have, so we got an input. So we got the resistance area over here, no problem. We have an impulse that breaks structure and it pulls back. As it pulls back, as you can see, it retests the 38.2 and also comes back down to the 78.6 as well. So for me personally, as per my grading system, that would be an A setup. And then of course we check the higher time frame. So higher time frame, as you can see, we are bullish in this very moment in time. Resistance areas over here on the weekly time frame, so I'm not really concerned about that. And then we've literally just come from this massive support area here on the weekly time frame. But then also by the time you go to the monthly, as you can see, we have this massive support area over here on the monthly time frame as well. So we are going bullish, right? Same as all the JPY pairs, they have a similar price action anyways. Now for me, yes, all the JPY pairs can be correlated in that sense, which technically they are correlated. So I guess trade it very carefully. Don't take all of them at the same time. However, it depends on how you're doing it. If you are trading all the JPY pairs in unison because you think that they are all correlated, and because one of them must move means that the other one should also move in the same direction, then that is the wrong thing to do. If you are trading it in the sense of, okay, I have 3 JPY pairs and they all are giving me setups, and you're not really talking about the whole fact of that it's correlated, then that's a different meaning. And if you decide to trade all 3 pairs or all the JPY pairs that manage to give you those setups, then you can't really fault yourself, because technically what you're doing there is you're treating each pair as an individual. You see what I'm saying? It's like trading US 30 and NAS 100. Yes, they are correlated. However, US 30 might give you a setup and then NAS 100 might not give you a setup. So then you're going to take US 30 because it's giving you a setup, and you're not going to take NAS because it hasn't given you a setup. It hasn't met your criteria. Therefore, you're only going to be able to take one. You're not going to force the other one. But if they have all given you a setup, each individual has given you a setup, then you're going to take every single one of them. And that side of things is okay. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did basically. I did take GJ and NZD-JPY based on that theory, right? Which is technically correct. But you should also be careful with, you know, your risk management and your risk tolerance, as well as your risk exposure. Now, for me, just took 1%, wasn't really bothered about it. Yes, again, they are correlated. So if one of them stops me out, it's not guaranteed for the other one to also stop me out at the same time. So that's another theory behind it as well. So I managed to take 1% on both of these pairs. We got our entry signal here, no structure was created. And then what price did was tapped us in, major drawdown. And then at this point, basically I got a margin call, not because I over leveraged, but because it had that max drawdown stop out, which was implemented within the prop firm. So this, with also GJ being a factor as well. So GJ had a similar situation. Price broke the 61.8. No structure was created, so our entry was lower, right? TP all the way over here, so we get a 1 to 3. So price ended us tapping us in there, and then this, and then we got stopped out here. So this price action here, where it stopped me out, with NZD-JPY being all the way in drawdown, all the way down here, where this lower wick is, where you can now see this dotted line, that allowed for the margin to be called, and I got stopped out of the trade. Well, GJ definitely stopped me out, and then NZD-JPY also stopped me out at the same time before it even hit my stop loss, because of that margin stop out, and I managed to lose the account because of that. So those are the last 2 trades that I managed to take that completely just, you know, abolished the account. It happens. I'm not complaining. It is what it is. I'll be very honest. I am going to run this back again. There's definitely going to be a part 2. I am running this back again. This time, more than likely, I will either do it again on a 5K account and do the same thing, or I will increase the account size. But the purpose of me using the 5K was to actually run it up as much as possible to show you that the withdrawals of such amount can be life-changing at the same time. So without further ado, I am actually going to take a week off, not for mental clarity, but because the market has been behaving so erratically, I am going to take a week off. Now, whether the market decides to start playing ball this time, this upcoming week, and everything flies to CP whilst I'm taking a break, so be it. I haven't really got a problem with that, but I am definitely taking a week off, and I will be back next week with a new account, running this same challenge back up, same everything. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I hope you guys appreciate the transparency. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. There is something that I am working on behind closed doors in the background. I'm just going to leave it at that. Don't want to say too much. In due course, you guys will see. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.